Gary. We're at the install photo checklist, so that the installation has happened at this stage. The engineer has now, I suppose, fed back all the information, and now we're about to check that information. So we'll pass over to Gary, talk us through the process.
Okay, so whenever a job's completed, then we'll get the ticket that the engineer has completed has just been submitted to ourselves on via Zendesk. This is a new completed job. So what we'll do is we just click on the job, and I'll take the ticket. So what we want to do next is click on the link here, which will take us straight through to the Nexus app of the job that's been submitted to us. Just give it a second for it to load up. And there we go. So first thing we want to do to our ticket is we want to amend. When we look at our job here, we've got engineer test that's come through. So we want to amend our pictures. We go back to our Nexus app, and if we press this button up in the top corner, this allows us to cycle through all of our photographs. So what we can see here is the registration number is 09D2049. So we'll just bounce back to the ticket here and change the title. 09D2049, I think it was. 2049, yep, correct. So we just amend that on our ticket. And what we'll do now is we'll cycle through the photographs and just make sure that everything looks good from our end. Picture of the cab condition.
And Guy, if you can explain even in each picture, like what are you really looking for? What?
Yeah, we're looking at the cab condition here. We're looking to see if there's any broken panels or damage to the vehicle, or it's in a good presentable condition. It becomes more relevant at the end when we're doing the last check to make sure that it's still in the same condition as we received the vehicle in. So we're not, it's basically to ensure that the vehicle's left in as good as condition as it's found, basically. So that's the cab condition here. The next picture then is the dashboard photograph. We're looking to see if there's any alert warnings up here, because then down the screen here, you would normally get, if there's a fault with the vehicle, you get like an ABS fault or an ABS malfunction or sensor fault. It will flash up here whenever the ignition is turned on. But in this case, it's okay. We'll go through to the next photograph. We're looking for the device serial number. So what we'll do now is we will put that serial number onto our testing ticket. So we go to, let me just see, we get our serial number straight from here. Let's paste that on up top. Back to our Nexus app. We're looking at the power supply for the lamp, which is the internal fuse board of the vehicle here. And I can see the fuse holder and the power leads running over towards us. So that looks good. We're looking for the squirrel location on this one, or the lamp location. This all looks good to me, the top part of the dashboard. The device serial number of the squirrel, which is fine. We can check that if we need to. Again, location of the squirrel unit. The picture of the can click location, which looks good. The squirrel D8 wire, which you can see here on the D plug on pin 8 on the green wire, which is fine. And then again, the instrument cluster after installation showing no errors on the screen. So everything from the picture point of view looks good. Again, the post-install check location, showing that the dashboard's in the same condition as it was prior to installation, and also just a quick check of the outside of the vehicle again to make sure there's been no damage done to the vehicle. So we're happy enough with our pictures. And the next state is to go back to our Zendesk and actually just test the unit now.
And so just before we hit the test button on that, is there any common errors, or when you're checking through the pictures, is there any sort of common trends you see with certain things that could be possible red flags there whenever you're going through the pictures, or tend to be They're at a
Possible
high
red
standard.
flags would be, you might see a poor location, or the can click on the green can click that may not be closed correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you should flag out a picture, but the picture doesn't look as it should. They
Okay.
become more prevalent when actually you go to the testing site and you start testing things and you go, well, hang on, this isn't working here. Let's go back and check the pictures to see why it's not working.
Yeah.
I'll have a look for the telltale signs as to why there's no field data coming through. And then you go, well, show me a picture of the can click location. You'll go back and you'll see, well, hang on, look, that can click's hanging open there. It hasn't been closed properly. And
Gotcha.
you'll know that there's an issue there. That's what's caused the issue. And again, in that circumstance, then you get back on the engineer and ask the engineer to go back out and test properly.
Understood. And would that be recorded on Zendesk if it was an additional call out?
That'll all be recorded here on the job. The job, instead of when you see it at the end of the job here, when we go to approve the job, there's also a section there for flagging it with the issue.
Okay.
And we flag the issue on that as well. And again, then we do a separate booking request to the engineer again, and just call it a revisit, where they'll have to go back out again and revisit the same job again. And that's all off. The engineer has to do that himself. And there's no, there wouldn't be any further payment and what have you for that. So what we need to do now is we need to amend the serial number from the device to the registration number from the picture. So if we just double click our IMEI, go to our BoHub, and if we search for a device with this IMEI linked to it, oh, this isn't going to match. So it's just searching now and it's found this registration number. So we need to edit that now to reflect the details of our testing ticket. So the registration number we have are 0902049. Go back to BoHub here. We'll amend the details. And save.
Just tell me an N or something beside it, or a space today, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just put a space in here for the branch of demonstration. We'll save that. Okay, so now what we need to do, we go back to the ticket and we'll mark here what we have done. Bridge amended on BoHub. Unit. And we'll just submit that as new. Again, what I do this is same process that I do with the orders as well. If I'm doing amendments to the job sheet, should you get called away, at least you know where you are with the job as you're testing it there. So now what we need to do is we need to go and test the job. So we go to my Cubo and just log in. And we flip the load up and we go to Cubo staff. And we know that the registration is 09B, and there we go, there's our asset there. We click on this and use our drop down. And what we want to do is we want to run a diagnostic report first. Load the report for today. Now we'll see here, we've got the timed updates to the vehicle, which has been sitting throughout the night. And we've also got our ignition on, squirrel journey start, our tracking events, our squirrel 30-second messages. So what we'll do is we'll grab a quick screenshot of this.
Okay, so Snippet is the app you're using for that?
Yep, Snippet, sorry, yep.
Mm-hmm.
If we just right click that and copy, and go back to our ticket. Diagnostic ignition events. And we just paste that in here. And then down below that, we're looking to see now the canvas information from the basic canvas report. So we'll just put in here BCAN, and we go back to our Cubo app. And we want to generate now a BCAN report.
Sorry, BCAN means what again? Just you said
it. Basic canvas. It's the canvas of the vehicle. This is what the squirrel device actually reads and how we interpret it now to the front end of the system. So we're looking for the BCAN report for today. And if we load this, this will show our detailed CAN bus journeys for the day. Let me just roll this down slightly. We can see here that there was 5,278 miles in the vehicle. It's done its journey. There's now 5,282 miles in the vehicle. We can see many times the brake pedal was pressed during that, the harsh brake. But what we're not seeing at this instant is the fuel level. There's no fuel level being broadcast in the vehicle. So there may be a problem here. So what we'll do now is we'll do a new screenshot. And we'll right click and copy. We want to go back to our ticket. Beacon working, comma, no fuel level. And we'll just paste that in here.
That could be, sorry, just in the instances not supported in this vehicle type. In this instance, I think it isn't. It's a van for the example. But again, the guy was saying it could highlight an issue that we need to revisit.
Yeah. So this is basically, we're just highlighting the issue that there's no fuel level on the vehicle. But from memory, this isn't broadcast by that particular vehicle.
Yeah.
We've now, let's go back to our testing process, sorry. We've got our ignition events there showing our ignition on, our squirrel journey starts. We've got our CAN bus showing that the squirrel is working. What we can do now is we can just mark on this here. All working as it should. Spell. Job approved on Texas. So what we need to do now is we need to go back to our Nexus app. We go to the tick button here. And basically we approve the job. We can update our registration number on this here now. Engineer test to 09D space 202049. And approve the job. That now tells us that that job has been approved and it's good for payment. The engineer can be paid for the job. We're happy enough with it. The ticket's also been completed with all our tests on it. So we can now submit that as solved.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Very good.